and welcome to a Hearts of Iron 4 Beginner's Guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Hearts of Iron 4, the game's mechanics, and I'm going to be giving you some beginner's tips. Alright, we're just going to jump into the game right away. So, here we have single player, and just to be clear with you, this tutorial is for patch 1.10.5. And let's just jump right in. So, we're going to go new game. So, in the beginning of Hearts of Iron 4, you are obliged to choose a scenario. Here, you have the Gathering Storm, which begins on the 1st of January, 1936. And then you have the Blitzkrieg, which begins on the 14th of August, 1939. So, as you all know, World War II began on the 1st of September, 1939 by the German invasion of Poland. So, this actually just skips to the war scenario straight away, while the Gathering Storm begins in 1936 and actually manages to get yourself ready for the war itself. So we're going to select scenario and we're just going to take a look at the situation. So what you see right here is, as you can see, is the select country. You're going to be selecting the country that you want to play right now. So the main options, which are called the major countries, are France, the US, the UK, the German Reich, Italy, Japan and the Soviet Union. The rest, as you can see, is the other countries. Once you click on other countries, you can take a full look of the world map. Here, as you can see, this is the current situation of Europe in 1936. As you can see, Germany, France, UK, Italy, Poland, to the east there's the Soviet Union, etc. The Allies have control of Africa, and there is the US and Canada. I'm going to do chain scenario. We're going to skip on to the Blitzkrieg to show you what the scenario is like there. We're just going to wait for a moment for it to load into the Blitzkrieg scenario. So, as I told you in the beginning, this just skips right into the action and you just find yourself straight up a few months away, not even a few months, just 1 month away from World War II. And the current situation here is Germany has taken down Czechoslovakia and Austria, and they've also taken Memel from Lithuania in the east. Then you have France and the UK, which is the Allied faction, ready against the Germans. And as you can see, as Czechoslovakia has been annexed, we now find ourselves a Slovakia, and then we have a Hungary over here. And yeah, this is actually the Blitzkrieg scenario, which just skips right into war. But in order to explain to you the game much better, I'm just going to go back to 1936. Well, the 1936 scenario allows you to get ready for war by selecting a country just by the beginning scenario of the game itself. We're going to have to talk about a few more things here. So as you can see right now, on my page is right now Europe. In the east, let's just remove that. In the east, you can see the Soviet Union right here. In Europe, we have Germany and Italy, UK and France. So, in what Hearts of Iron we call are factions, and as you all know in the real life, Germany, Italy and Japan form a tripartite pact which caused them to become the Axis powers. Then the UK, France and the United States and the puppets of the UK created their own alliance called the Allied faction. And as you can see, the Soviet Union is just alone by itself. So, we're just going to jump right into the game and start talking about this scenario. And before we do so, I'm also going to have to show you one more thing about Hearts of Iron 4. As you can see, down here you can choose a difficulty between Civilian, Recruit, Regular, Veteran or Elite. Here we have the armament and the Historical AI focuses. The Historical AI focuses makes the AI countries go what they had to do in real life as their Historical AI route. And the armor mode just prevents you from cheating. We're just going to begin as the German Reich, just to show you what the situation in Europe has to be right now. So in 1936, as you all know, there is around 3 years till the war, and it is just a period of time for the players to get ready for World War II, because none of the countries are actually ready for a full-scale war all the way back in 1936. So, the current situation in Europe after World War I, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Hungary, Romania have territorial changes. Germany, after losing the war, lost a big amount of 13% amount of its territories, Alsace-Lorraine to France, the Northern Kiel Canal to Denmark, its its eastern borders to Poland, and there has been a Polish corridor splitting Ostpreußen from the rest of the German Reich. And then France took back Alsace-Lorraine, and many changes have been made after World War I into Europe. So, what you see right now is your country's current map. So, as you can see, here is the green star, which is showing you your capital city. So, as with Germany, our capital city right here is Berlin. All the remainder of these small points, as you can see here, like Magdeburg, Weimar, Leipzig, Hanover, these are cities which are not that big, and they are just like minor cities, not as big as Berlin. And as you can see right here, we have two more cities, Frankfurt, Munich, three more cities, and Stuttgart. These three cities are much bigger compared to others, and they're very developed, which means they become a big city, which means they have more importance in the country. So, having begun off with Germany, let me just show you everything real quick. This is your country's current laws and government, research and production, and military staff. So, what is actually you're looking at right now? Here is the portrait of your country's leader. Here is the ruling party. So, as you all know, after 1933, Germany had its own party, the NSDAP, and after that, so Germany actually rolled into World War II under this fascist party. Here we have the Zentrum, which is the Democratic Party. We have the KPD, which is communist. We have the NSDAP, the fascist party, which is right now in charge of Germany, and the Axis powers is the faction. And there is the non-aligned party, which is not any concern. So, who do you know is democratic, communist, or fascist? So, looking here is the factions mode. The Axis powers are fascist in real life, and in the game they're also fascist. As you can see, Germany is fascist. Taking a look, Italy is fascist, which has the Partito Nazionale Fascista. Looking to the east, we have Japan, who is also right now a fascist party in charge. And then, the Soviet Union, as you all know, was a communist country, and as you can see in the game as well, the All-Union Communist Party right now is in charge. So here is a pie graph which shows you how much of the factions are right now ruling the country. As you can see, 88% of the popularity goes to the All-Union Communist Party, the 10% goes to Trudovics, and the 2% just goes to the Russian Fascist Party. As you can see, in the West, we have France. France has the Parti Radical, also known as the Democratic French Party right here, which has 64% of the popularity. There is also a Communist Party and an online party in France. Here we have the UK, which has the Conservative Party, which is right now 97% in popularity. We have the CBGB, which is the Communist Party of Britain, and the British Union of Fascists, led by Oswald Mosley, which is the Fascist Party. So, taking a look at all these, what are we going to know? We have to take a look at the laws and government. So this is what you have to do in order to take a look at how your nation is working, what you have to do with your nation, and what is the current law of certain things. Here you have your conscription law. So conscription law is very important for you, as it determines how much manpower can you conserve out of your population. So 2.5% of our population right now, as we are in the limited conscription law, the 2.5% of our population, which is 1.34 million manpower, is right now being conscripted into the army. As you can see, this is the free manpower amount, the 1.34 million. Our used manpower right now is around, let's say, 312,000 men right now in total, the army, the air, and the navy. And then in total manpower, we have 1.63 million men. So, looking right here, we're just going to see our manpower, so which is the amount of men we can conscript into our army. The amount of people, let's say, not men. So this is your trade law. So what does the trade law affect? We're going to be taking a look at this just in a moment. This is your economy law. So what is an economy law? In real life, a country, as you all know, normally not produce so much military things and has to produce them when they're ready for war or try to get ready for war. So normally, a normal country has to be in the civilian economy law at the beginning of the game. So as you can see right here, as I believe France has this. There we go, the civilian economy. Same goes with the UK, etc., etc. This is your economy law, which shows how much of your factories are being used for production, which is going to be another topic we're going to be taking a look at later. The political advisors, as you can see, you can pick up extra modifiers for your nation by using your political power. And as we talk about laws and government, we're going to have to take a look at all these modifiers on the top. So this is your political power. So what is the political power? Political power is a modifier that you have as taken every single day that passes in this game. As you know, unlike other strategy games of Paradox, Hoifo rolls with hours instead of days. And this is going to be a very determining factor at war. Here you see is the stability. So what is stability? Stability, as you can read right here, stability represents the people's support for the current government. So stability means how much people love this government. So if the government has more political power, which means by political power I mean popularity, as high the popularity goes, as high the stability goes. So this is very important. And if stability goes too down low, you will occur in a civil war, which is a very, very bad situation. Here we have the war support. The war support is how much this country goes to war, how much this country wants to go to war. As the higher the war support goes, as high you can go with your mobilization. So this is what the economy law stands for, as we talked about it. We talked about manpower and what it was. Now we skip on to our factories. So what are factories used for? As you can see, we have a couple of menus right here. Here we have the construction menu. So why is the construction menu important? Here you can choose what you have to build for your country. As you can see right here, this is the infrastructure. Infrastructure makes improvements to your states, which gives extra bonuses for factory construction. As you can see here, we have the 80% bonus for infrastructure, 70% bonus for infrastructure, and 60% bonus for infrastructure. So it has to change. Here you have air bases, which is a place where you can deploy your air forces and stock your air forces. This is very important for you. If you're going to go to war, let's say, you're going to have to be close to your front, and you're going to have to place your planes into somewhere closer to the other front. Here you have the anti-air. So we're going to be taking a look at planes, and I'm going to be explaining what anti-air stands for. We have the radar station. The radar station is very important for intelligence agencies and for you to see your enemy's troops amount, and which is a very important thing in Hearts of Iron 4. Here, we're going to be going down to the shared buildings. So shared buildings, these can be built in states, as you can see. So these are our states, like Schleswig-Holstein right here, Brandenburg, Mecklenburg, Vorpommern, Hinterpommern. These are all states on their own. And we're going to be constructing these buildings at these states. So as you can see here, it says 5 out of 8, 3 out of 4, 1 out of 4. This means how many construction slots have you used out of your state, which is a very important factor in order to fill up your factory count, and you're going to be filling up your building slots. Let's say you're going to start constructing factories here, here, here. As you can see, it's going to be filled up once these factories are finished with their production. Here we have the civilian factories. The civilian factories are very important as the military factories are helping you produce stuff. Meanwhile, civilian factories are very important for you to do more buildings. Like let's say, you're going to start building these. Here you can see 15 out of 15 factories used for construction. So, we're going to be taking a look at this right now. So, civilian factories, as we said, are used for construction. And as you can see, 9 of them go to consumer goods, 1 of them go to imports, and 22 of them right now go for construction. See, 15, 7, 22 factories are going for construction right now. We're going to be like, let's say, building a factory in Brandenburg, and it's going to slowly start ticking up to the point where the factory is finished. So civilian factories are very important, let's say, and as you can see, it takes 331 days are going to be taken for this construction to be complete. So it takes around 2.3 months per factory, and this is very important for your country in order to have a powerful economy. So in the beginning tips, let's say, the country has to have as many civilian factories as you can. So you're going to be spamming around the civilian factories, and with the civilian factories, you're going to be able to construct even more military factories to have a very powerful economy for once you go to war. These are naval dockyards. Naval dockyards are very important as well, as you're going to be building your navy using naval dockyards. See, on the factory menu, we have 31 civilian factories, 28 military factories, and 10 naval dockyards. This is going to be our total factory count. This is the synthetic refinery. Why are these important? They are very important for resources and fuel. Fuel is a very determining factor in Hearts of Iron 4. Without fuel, you can't do anything. Like, let's say you're going to try to use your tanks for attacks, or you're going to try to use your ships, or you're going to try to use your planes. They're going to become extremely vulnerable, and they won't keep working as well as they would normally be. So it's very important to gain yourself some fuel. Fuel silo is a place to stock fuel, as you all know. This is the rocket side, and this is the nuclear reactor. We're going to be talking about these later in other videos. This is a naval base. So naval bases are places where you can send your ships to be staying at. As you can see, it says here that we have one naval base in Schleswig-Holstein, we have one naval base in this and a level 6, another level 6 naval base, this time in Mecklenburg. You see these anchors right here? The anchor means that you have a naval base right here that is eligible to take ships in. And this is a very important situation for every single country, because these also help you supply, but we're going to be talking about those later in a battle situation, of which we're going to be talking about much later on. We're going to go back. So this is a land fort. So what do forts do? If you ever play European Universalis IV, which is another Paradox Grand strategy game, you must have seen that you have to go down for a siege, as forts are very difficult to take. And you're going to keep losing men as you siege the forts. So forts are important to repel your enemy's attacks, because like repelling your enemy's attacks and giving them as many casualties is a very mighty situation of land forts. Here you have the coastal forts. Coastal forts are just the same thing with land forts, but the difference is you can only construct them to coasts to fend off naval invasions. So this is converting is a different situation. So in wartime, let's say, you don't need so many civilian factories, let's say. Like, you're in wartime, you have to keep producing even more, weaponry and equipment, of which you're not going to be needing so many civilian factories. So what you're going to do is you're going to swap onto military factory, which is a strat I really, really, really hate. You don't do this in Hearts of Iron 4. Alright, now we're going to go on to take a look at the decisions menu. So the decisions is a decision. Like, what is a decision? You have to choose between one option and another. For your country to have more bonuses, or for your country to be, as stable as it can be, or, to help your country do something. Here you have, like, let's say the propaganda effort. You're going to say, prepare a war propaganda. So this is going to be a decision for you. And this decision is going to be showing you that your country is right now doing war propaganda, and if you make this decision, you're going to be having weekly 1% extra war support for 90 days. So these are what events and decisions go for. So the intelligence agency has been a very, very different situation that has been added with the La Resistance DLC. Intelligence agencies have to be formed. As you can see, you have to form your agency, but we're going to be talking about this much later. So this is a research. a research menu is a very important feature for your country, and you're going to be literally like stepping up your technology through this menu. This part of the menu goes for your army, this part of your table goes for your navy, this part of your table goes for air, and this part of the table goes for industry and engineering. So as you can see, this is the infantry menu. Here you have weapons and equipment. Weapon is like, for every single unit in this game, you need weapons, and weapon production is very important to the point where you'll just have to research even better guns, even better, and as you can see, you'll be taking even more bonuses per new weapon. As you can see, like you see, you have 20 defense on this, 22 defense on this, 28 defense on this, and 34 defense on this. So there's a lot of difference between the first gun and the last gun. So as you keep improving your guns, you're going to be becoming even better. Here's the mobile infantry. You're going to be using your motorized and mechanized. So motorized and mechanized are different situations, by the way. It is very important to know. Here you have the special forces. The special forces are unit types, of which we're going to be talking about in another video. So this is just a quick introduction to Hearts of Iron 4. And this is a new feature that has been added to the game by La Resistance. Again, the armored cars. Here you have the support companies, which is another thing for infantry, and you have armor. I'm going to be making another video just to show you guys how armor works and how powerful armor is. And this is a place where you have to research new tanks, light, medium, or heavy. This is the menu of artillery. Here you'll be researching anti-air artillery and anti-tank, and you'll be upgrading them to the point where you can't even do anymore. Here's the land doctrine menu. I'm going to be talking about this tree in a battle video, of which I'm going to be filming very soon. Naval. This is where you start researching your ships, and you're going to be researching even more technology for your ships. This is naval doctrine. You're going to be, I'm going to be talking about this later. Air tree, you have the closest port, the fighter, naval bomber, heavy fighter, tactical, strategic, and scout planes, of which I'm going to be talking about later on, as I'm going to be talking about the Air Force in another video. But this tree, you'll just be searching even more planes regarding their timelines. And this is air doctrine, just like we talked about land and naval doctrines. This is the engineering tree. You have the electronic engineering, the atomic research, and the experimental rockets tree. So the rockets are going to be a different situation to talk about. Atomic research just gives you atom bombs by the end of them. Here you have the electronic engineering chip, which you're going to have to go down in order to improve your research speed and your radar capability. And this is the final part of our research tree, which is production, industry, construction, and synthetic oil. You're going to be upgrading all of these regarding their years, and this is going to be a very important thing to do. So, trade. What is trade? I'm going to be talking about this much detailed in another video, but to be sure, this is the tree. So, Hearts of Iron 4 contains 4 resources: oil, aluminium, rubber, tungsten, steel, and chromium. This is how much you have in your country for your production lines, which I'm going to be showing you right here. This is going to be a production line. We talked about construction. Let's just skip on to production. Production right here is showing you what you're producing using your military factories right now. It's a very important situation for your country to be ready for war. You're going to be like changing the amounts of factory that's being used for each equipment, like that, like this, let's say there. And it's going to be changing all the time. And this is what you're producing when it comes to ships. As you can see, convoys, battleships, battle cruisers, heavy cruisers, etc. Here you have the recruit and deploy. So recruit and deploy is where you'll be deploying more troops onto your field. Let's see, we're going to be fielding like 1 infantry division. Here, it's going to be showing you the amount of equipment you need and what equipment you need. And here it's going to be showing you the training process. I'm going to be talking about this later on in another video. Here you have the logistics. The logistics shows you how much gap of equipment you have. Let's say we start training 1 infantry division, right? Like without training an infantry division, we have 53 extra guns, and once we start training an infantry division, we lack 804 guns, 10 artillery, and 28 support equipment. This is the menu that shows you what you lack and what you don't lack. Here you have your convoys. Convoys are important for your naval invasion plans, trading, supply, and transferring troops. and this is the amount of convoys you have. The later of these are going to be about the army situation, and we're going to be discussing those much later on. So, the point of Hearts of Iron 4 is you can go historical or you can go unhistorical. By historical, I mean you get ready for war with Germany or like an allied nation, and Germany is going to be declaring war on Poland in 1939, and everything's going to be the same. And then you're going to have the UK and France working together against you, and then, like, let's say they're going to be the Allied faction, you're going to be the Axis faction, and you're going to be fighting against Europe in World War II, and then you're going to be turning on Soviets, etc., etc. This is the point of the historical game, and in non-historical, you can use your country's focus tree to go down a different route. Let's say right now you have your national focuses right here, and if you say form the popular front, you can just go down to your the more democratic route, and you can go down to communist route, or if you say revive the national bloc, let's say you go down to a fascist or another monarchist route, of which is going to be a different situation, of which we're going to be talking about in another video. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in the next one.